The Brave Men of Badr. Our Prophet was still staying at Abu Ayyub's house. Abu Ayyub had brought some dinner enough for 2 people. Our Prophet accepted the offer of dinner and said, "Go to Medina and call 30 Muslims to come and see me." Abu Ayyub was surprised. The food he brought was only enough for 2 people. It would be impossible for 30 people to be fed with this food. But our Prophet was the messenger of Allah, and he obeyed his request immediately. 30 people came and ate from the food. Abu Ayyub couldn't believe his eyes. Our Prophet ordered him again, "Go and call 60 more people." Abu Ayyub had no other choice but do what was asked of him. He called 60 more people, and they sat at the table too. They ate from the same food and left feeling full. Abu Ayyub was amazed. Our Prophet asked once again, "Go and call 70 more people." Abu Ayyub did as he was asked. 70 more people came and ate feeling full again. Abu Ayyub was left in shock from this event. He then explained what he saw that day. The plates always looked like they were full. Everyone was fascinated at what they saw. Everyone told our Prophet about their loyalty towards him. That dinner was one of our Prophet's miracles, and it was a present of Allah to our Prophet. When the Muslims of Mecca migrated, they had left their belongings behind. They began that journey for the sake of Allah. The Muslims of Medina had welcomed them with open arms of love and kindness. They offered them a lot of help, but nevertheless Medina's traditions were different. The Muslims of Mecca found it difficult to adjust and get used to this. They were in need of the local people's help and had to get to know each other better. One day, our Prophet asked all the Muslims to gather together. He made 90 people friends that day. 45 people from Medina became friends with 45 people from Mecca. Later, all the Muslims became friends with each other. Those who became friends were also seen as each other's successors. The people of Mecca who left their hometowns felt a little more relieved. Their hearts were warm towards each other, and they gained strength and support from one another. Each person from Medina was going to invite another family from Mecca into their homes. They were going to share their belongings and their earnings too. These friendships were not formed by chance. Our Prophet had chosen those who would get along with each other. He took care that there was complete harmony among the chosen ones. In a short period of time, some very good results were achieved, and a very good bond was established between the people. In the past, there wasn't a mosque in Medina where people could do their prayers. The Muslims were in need of a place where they could gather and discuss certain matters. A masjid had to be built. Our Prophet wanted the masjid to be built very quickly. The Muslims started working with haste and built the first masjid of Medina. It was given the name Masjid-i-Nabawi. Masjid-i-Nabawi didn't have a minbar at first. Our Prophet used to lean onto a dry trunk cart from a tree when he delivered khutbah, a sermon of speech delivered at the noon prayer on Fridays. Sometime later, a minbar with 3 steps was built. Our Prophet climbed up the new minbar for the first time. Right at that moment, a sound similar to that of a camel's cry was heard. Everyone listened very carefully, but there were no camels around. When they looked carefully, they saw that the crying came from the dry trunk. Our Prophet had heard the cry too, and the trunk wouldn't stop crying no matter what. Our Prophet came down from the minbar and went up to the trunk. When he put his hand on the trunk, the crying stopped. Those Muslims who witnessed this event also started crying. Our Prophet turned to the community and said, "I hugged and comforted the trunk because it feels sad now that I will be using the new minbar and not the trunk." Our Prophet ordered a hole to be dug beneath the minaret so that the trunk could be buried there. The crying of the dry trunk was another one of our Prophet's miracles. The Muslims had a mosque, but there wasn't a way to make a call for prayer. The Muslims would come and wait at the masjid, and when the time came, they would perform their prayers. Our Prophet ordered the Muslims to come together. They were going to talk about how they should make the call for prayer. Some said that the bell should be rung, like that of Christians, and some said that the horn should be blown, like that of the Jews. There were even those who said a fire should be set at the time of prayers. Our Prophet didn't like any of these ideas. At that moment, Umar asked if he could speak. "Dear Prophet, why don't you send someone to announce the time of prayers?" Our Prophet liked this idea and thought it was suitable. He called to Bilal, "Get up, Bilal. Announce that it's prayer time." Bilal got up and walked around the streets of Medina. While he was walking, he called out, "Time for prayers! Time for prayers!" Sometime later, one of the Sahabis, companions of our Prophet, had a dream. In his dream, the words of Adhan, which we already know, were taught to him. He then told our Prophet about his dream. After our Prophet heard about this dream, he said, "I hope this dream is a real one," and accepted that this is how the call for prayer should be made. Umar and a few other Sahabis had seen the same dream too, and they went and told our Prophet about it. Bilal learned the words of Adhan and read it out, and in a loud and strong voice, "Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar." From that day since, Adhan hasn't changed in any way at all, and it continues to call people to prayer just like it did on the very first day.